Welcome back, everyone. If you are new here, my name is Colin Foley, and I have been in customer success for about 5 years now. And really, my idea behind this channel is to really give you current insights around becoming an AI enabled CSM. I think there was a lot of information around the internet, LinkedIn, Google, wherever it may be, around using AI tools, workshops, and different areas where to explore. And really, my idea here is someone that is in the trenches, that has broken into customer success. I originated in hotels and hospitality. My goal and my idea here with this channel and moving forward is to share practical knowledge and insights from someone boots on the ground that's leading an AI initiative across a SaaS company right now in HR tech, to really give back and share examples of utilizing AI and becoming an AI enabled CSM in today's world. Now, quickly, so a little bit more about me. So I've, obviously pivoted from hotels and hospitality, and I did over a decade there in leadership, being a general manager, navigating accounts, and now I've spent the last 5 years or so in SaaS and customer success, navigating the ins and outs, the renewal process, the QBRs, account review, success planning, whatever it may be, and driving those business outcomes for my accounts. And really, the takeoff or the launch point over really in 2025 has been AI. And you've probably seen this across the platform, across news articles, it is essentially taking off these days, is utilizing AI to make yourself more productive, to increase your workflow, and to become more of an AI enabled CSM. So that is really the general theme that I want to get across here. So today, what I really want to start to talk about a little bit is a specific tool that I don't want to say is underrated, but I think it's underutilized and has a very, very robust ability to speed up your workflow. That AI layer is NotebookLM. I think they just recently changed, basically it's part of Google's of tools. So it's now Gemini notebook and everything. And I think notebooks obviously have been around for a little bit, and I think they're a really good like education material, or at least like traditionally. But there is a lot of cool tools that you can use as a CSM within Notebook. I think traditionally it's great for having PDFs, websites, documents, everything sort of grounded in documentation and sourcing. So when you actually have the chat or you're looking up knowledge within the notebook, everything has sources and citations. There's no hallucinations. So it's better for that type of research and document kind of facts that you're looking for, especially as a CSM. You might have things as a CSM that I don't necessarily need a persona crafted email follow-up for a account, or let me do some strategic market research to craft a plan for this account kind of thing, where that might be better in Claude or even in Gemini, where it's going to source external publications or how other kind of strategic CSMs in your industry might communicate in this circumstance. What Notebook is really good is like it can take your current maybe product knowledge, your current account knowledge, your current websites, your current sourcing, and it can basically give you grounded source citations, follow-up of like literally this is what these documents said or didn't say. So I do want to dive into this a little bit, because the area that I've been sort of exploring and pushing across my team is disparate systems. And maybe you in the customer success space feel the same way, probably, where you have all these systems. And again, yours might be different. Mine, at least in HR tech, is going to be sort of like, we have Salesforce, we have a CRM system, Catalyst, we have the actual platform, and then we use Gong, right? And there's other ones out there too and everything. So we have all these systems: Zendesk for support tickets, Gong for transcripts, Catalyst for account management, white spacing, data, and then there's Snowflake and Pendo that has like data repositories as well. So it's all these separate systems that some of the information talk to one another, some of it doesn't. So it's always been traditionally part of the CSM's responsibility to articulate the data in a fashion to the account, have these 3, 4, 5 systems talk to one another, or at least collect the data and put it into a resource, whether that's a Google Doc or something that other people can work on. And that takes a lot of time, and that takes a lot of manual step. And I think some systems like Claude and all these things have MCPs and connectors where it can actually connect these pieces, and bridges where you can have that communication back and forth. But what I want to go into today is at least how I've been leading my team, and how like you in a CSM space, whether you're an enterprise scale or in a mid-market, you could set up this sort of AI layer and account base using a Notebook LM. So let's get into it. I want to share some information about this, and I'll go into a little bit of the notebook as well. All right, perfect. So this is just going to be sort of like a visual walkthrough that I want us to kind of go through. So really, and this is what I was just saying, is this, data silos to strategy. You're going to have all these siloed information, all of these systems that maybe right now aren't talking to each other, right? So the idea here is sort of scaling customer success using and leveraging Notebook LM specifically, right? So what we want to do is, what is the pain or that hidden cost originally? So every QBR cycle, EBR, account review, maybe it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours per account, and they're we as CSMs are going to collect that, that data, the gathering. And so we're going to basically spend half a day, a full day gathering all of those disconnected systems, exporting CSVs, reviewing call transcripts, populating it into some piece, whether it's a slide deck or a Google Doc, right? Maybe the information is outdated, right? Maybe it's fragmented. You have Salesforce, Gong, Zendesk, usage logins, or maybe in Salesforce. And then you have sort of a white spacing or usage kind of CSV in Catalyst. But then those aren't necessarily pulling in the Zendesk information, where it might have tickets in there, but maybe it's not pulling in the Zendesk like about information about the context of the actual support ticket that a client had. So you're going to have to spend a lot of time kind of going through these. And again, this being an AI enabled CSM kind of space is kind of working on strategies to not necessarily be like a coder, but how can you leverage systems and AI to speed up that process and increase your workflow and your productivity. So the Notebook LM advantage, it gives you that centralized knowledge base. You can upload Salesforce reports, you can upload contracts. I also like to export all activity history, because then if you do that once and you set it up, it's kind of set it and forget it, because then what you can do, at least at that time, you can schedule repeatable cadences for yourself, maybe every 3 months, for that time period, every 3 months, get an activity. And what that does is, whether it's a brand new account, whether it's a transfer account, or it's an account that like has transitioned to you or something, or a new CSM, is you can take every single maybe ticket, email, thread, even if you're not associated on those emails, you can get that repository and that history straight from Salesforce and export that as a PDF, and then upload that entire PDF history right into the Notebook LM, which gives you that historical foundation and that knowledge base right off the bat. Gong transcripts as well. What I love to do is kind of go into that conversations tab, for example, of Gong. And if there is a fast way to do this, that's the goal, is you can basically just export one at a time. If you have the whole list of your call conversations, and maybe it's one list of calls over the last year, or it's 5 or 6 pages of calls that dating back years, right? You can quickly just go, export each one, the call text transcript. So that way, basically what it's doing, it's taking that file and it's basically just exporting into your downloads onto your computer, the exported text. So what you would do is basically just take 5 minutes, go into that account, search the call conversation history, and then just do that. Then you take all of those downloads, and maybe it's 20 transcripts, or it's 50, 60, and you can literally drag and drop them right into the notebook. because I think Notebook, it can take up to 300 pieces of information depending on what platform you're on. So it's very, very powerful, very, very useful as well. And NotebookLM synthesizes insights from your specific data. It doesn't use generic AI summaries. Every answer is grounded in actual account reality. And add new meeting notes or product logs and AI updates. No manual reformatting, which is powerful. So what I like to do here is building a repeatable and scalable workflow that turns raw data into compelling customer narratives. So really the idea here is define the narrative and automate the flow as much as possible, whether that's with a Gong transcripts or those Salesforce, and then even the contract piece as well. So that kind of gives you that repeated iterative process. And this is really where you can actually set this up today, and it can actually be very repeatable. And if you do one at a time, you're going to be able to reclaim 4 hours per meeting, because then you can basically craft pain points, updates, success planning, renewal conversations straight from that resource, which is extremely powerful. Okay. The last thing I wanted to go into here is so if you're on here, this is why this is really cool. You can actually do quick research. You have all these items too. So you can drag and drop files, as I mentioned here, right in your PDFs, images. So that's where you kind of drag and drop all of those Gong transcripts. So you have all of them for that foundational, that whether they were from sales, the demos, the implementation, the onboarding, previous CSM, if it's a transfer account, you have all that historical information right there. Label your notebook as such. Throw in the contract if it's 1, 2, 3 amendments, addendums, whatever it may be. Throw all that in here, so you have sort of a working document information about their contract history, their subscription lines, their call transcripts. Put in their website as well. So if you want to have their website, LinkedIn, so you can actually have updates. Maybe it's Google as well. Are there any kind of CEO or C-suite changes? You have this repository on here as well. Copy text is nice too. I like this for ongoing call transcripts. You can just copy and paste them right in here. Or if there's anything else, and that kind of will create an actual source over here on the left tab. And then Drive too. If you have a drive, I will create, maybe historical account drives. So you can actually add, maybe there was documentation from onboarding or previous slide decks. So you can actually upload all of those as well right into there. And you can actually do the Salesforce PDF as well, which I like. I always like doing the command P print, which if you're not connected to a printer, it just does basically saving it as a PDF, which is very, very useful. And you can do that for any kind of documentation as well, to just quickly get it as a PDF. That way you can just upload it here. So then once it's in here, you can customize the logo. You can customize your persona as well. So if you want to actually change everything in here, I like to kind of put it as a upload there, the company's logo, define this as account hub, right? And then add all the sources. I also like to share this as well. So share it with your manager, share it with sales, share it with your account manager, whoever's kind of working on this. If it's product related, share people on there, because then you can get analytics. I think it's up to 4 people, and then you can kind of see analytics, but that way everyone can be working on a similar document. Each chat history here is individual and it's private. But once you start asking questions, it'll actually give you some prompted questions that you can actually directly ask, or you can actually start pulling in specifics that you want. Do you want to start to pull in pain points? Do you want to start to pull in renewal discussions, expansion? And you also have these areas too. You can take individual source documents or all of them, and you can make them into a mind map. Do you want to do a stakeholder mind map, which is super cool and super interesting? Do you want to create that as a video? And do you want to listen on the go? Are there any source material on there? Do you want to make that into a learning process for you for a podcast or an audio or an infographic that you want to share with your clients? So this is very, very useful. And then once you kind of do this in one spot, you have this sort of AI layer that you can now ask questions and say, did we ever demo X, Y, and Z? did they ever bring up this contention during renewal process? And it can actually have this grounded in your entire Salesforce history, your email history, your call transcript history right here. So this sort of pulls in those disconnected systems into one, and then you can actually have this as a chat conversation as well. So that is super, super powerful. Awesome, everyone. So hopefully you found that beneficial. If you like this content, please like and subscribe this. I'm going to try to do these more often. We're going to kind of go into these tools, other workflows, other scenarios, and in just general talking about customer success, AI, being more equipped for being an AI-enabled CSM in 2026 and beyond.